All right, welcome to the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show. Larry Kruger with you. And of course, check out Pig and a Pickle, two locations, Corte Madera and Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Go get some brisket chili. Talk to Damon and Mary. Tell them the Krug sent you. Enjoy some of the Bay Area's best barbecue. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the day that was in Ninerland and go through some of the headlines. Jauan Jennings and the Niners have a brand new deal. We're going to talk about that, as well as caught up with some of these guys in the locker room, Fred Warner, the newest Niner quarterback, Adrian Martinez, and Demo Lenore is a captain. And we talked to him as well. So we're going to hear from all of these guys. We should also tell you that we are brought to you, the 49er football season on the Krug Show is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. The link's in the description. Terms and conditions apply. And here's my lineup for this week. I'm going Jackson Smith Najigba. I like him to get a bunch of receptions. I think he's going to have more than 5.5. Cooper Kupp, I think, has more than 39.5 receiving yards. Charbonnet, now this is a little bit of a flyer, but I think Charbonnet is going to have a good run in this game or two. They list him at 32.5 rush yards. I kind of like that one. And then Christian McCaffrey with the anytime touchdown. So hopefully we are winner, courtesy of Sleeper. And once again, get $100 deposit match up or get $100 deposit matched by Sleeper. Just use my code Larry, Larry. All right. The story of the day in 49er land is Adam Schefter reporting earlier that the 49ers and Jauan Jennings have a brand new agreement. Well, it's not really a long-term deal, but they have added some incentives to JJ's contract, which will give him an extra $3 million, makeable incentives that will give him a little bit more money. And this is a great compromise. Why is it a great compromise? It's a great compromise because the Niners are not ripping up the existing contract, which is bad precedent. They're not, JJ is not bypassing free agency next March. Never thought he would. And this is a way to compromise and just say, hey, you know what? We beat you in this negotiation, but we love you, and here's $3 million. And that's basically what's going on here. The Niners beat him in the negotiation. He held out. He didn't get the money. He wasn't going to get the money, but the Niners love him. And it's kind of like the Jimmy Butler thing with the Warriors. It's like, if you're going to trade for Jimmy Butler, you got to extend him. You got to make him happy. Why? Because he's a powerful presence in the room. And if he's not happy, he's not worth having. And the exact same thing is Jauan Jennings. It's like, he's a terrific player. He's a leader. But if he's unhappy and he's in your room, he's not worth having in your room. So if you were gonna, have him on the team, he's got to be happy. And I know that sounds silly, but not every guy do they care about. And Shanahan was asked about this today about, hey, is everything, fine? And he's like, well, business, it's the business side of this thing. He's like, I'd love for every player to make more money. I'd love for every coach, every player, everybody to make as much money as they can, but we can't pay everybody top of the scale. It's bad business for our football team. It's a capped sport. If this was a sport that wasn't capped, if it was baseball, then yeah, pay him whatever you want. Pay him anything you want. But you're working under a salary cap. So you can't pay him anything you want, even if you love him. And the timing was all wrong, but they, basically squashed him and said, you know what, we win. And then came back, 24 hours later and said, but we love you, brother. You know what? We love you. We want you. You're our guy. We love you. So I think that's cool. I think that's really cool because the Niners have always loved JJ. And they love him you say, why do they love him? They love him because he's tough as hell, because he's the most competitive guy there is, because he shows up. He's like the ultimate big money guy. You put the money on the table and JJ is there. And not everybody does. So, you know what? I think it's cool. They got him signed. This was the win. The win wasn't beating him in the negotiation. The win was beating him in the negotiation avoiding the long-term big money deal, not ripping up his existing contract. But then, you know what? Do you love the player? Yes. Do you respect the player? Yes. Do you want to throw him a few million more? Yes. And they found a way to do it. So win-win. Lynch kind of hinted at this last time he spoke to the media, saying, he very much sounded like a guy who was totally okay with giving JJ a few more dollars, because JJ is maybe one of the most dependable football players the Niners have. And John Lynch respects him because there's a blue collar element of Jauan Jennings. And there's a rawness to his game, but there's toughness, and he plays. I mean, this guy's going to show up and play. I don't know how it's going to go, but whatever he's got, he's going to give the Niners. And now he's going to show up with a great attitude because they found a few extra dollars, and good for them. They had plenty of money on the cap. This is the win. You get him, you have him signed. He's on that contract, but now you say, okay, we don't have to do this, but we're going to do this. And I think he feels good, and hopefully Rosenhaus feels good, and the Niners, it's on to Seattle. All right, let's get into the locker room stuff, because the locker room stuff, I think, is probably the second biggest story of the day, as we got a chance to go in the locker room and talk to some of the key figures today. And I asked Fred Warner, and man, Fred Warner had a huge scrum of people around him. I was probably about 8 feet away from him with my camera above the fray. I mean, it was absolute amazing that I got this soundbite. But I wanted to ask Fred, because to me, the big story in week 1 is Seattle has been running the hell out of the football in the preseason, over 5 yards a carry in all 3 games. And Fred's one of the most cerebral, green dot wearing players in the league, right? I mean, this is the guy whose job it is to stop the run, or at least part of, he's a big part of the Niners run stop unit. And I asked him what Seattle's run game looks like, and here's what he had to say. They've had a lot of success running the ball in the preseason. I don't know if you've answered this question yet, but what does their run game look like on film to you?
Yeah, a lot of what we do, on our offense. A lot of misdirection, motions, jets, shifts, 2-back run game, 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. So they're going to mix it up. They got really good running backs, like I mentioned before, and so we know the test that we presented, and we got to make sure we come with it.
Yeah. Very similar to the Niner run game, but totally different than what Seattle had as far as scheme run game wise a year ago. So how well in year 1 of a new scheme with a new OC, with a rookie, offensive lineman, how well are they going to run their scheme? And that's going to be interesting. They ran it very effectively in the preseason, but that's the preseason. Nobody schemes to beat you in the preseason. Now we'll see. Now it's for real, and we're going to find out. Is Seattle going to be a dominant run team in 2025 after having the 28th rated rush offense in 2024? That would be quite the turnaround, and we'll see if they can do it. Then I saw Adrian Martinez standing at his locker, and I've been a big college football fan of Adrian Martinez for the last few years. Loved him at Nebraska. I just kind of feel like this guy's best football is not in his past, but in his future. He's a really good athlete. He's very competitive. He's pretty smart. He's coming off an amazing year in the UFL. And I walked up to him, and this is how the conversation started. We're in the Niner locker room with Niner quarterback Adrian Martinez, and just got to the team. How you feeling? How's things going so far?
Feel good. Big task. Just doing my best to learn the playbook as fast as I can, get on board, and adopt everything that they got going on here.
You had a great run in the UFL this last year. How much do you think that experience helped you and propelled you into this?
Absolutely, yeah. I think just playing in that league gave me a great opportunity to get better, to play real snaps. I think at times in the preseason, guys can get lost in the shuffle, and gave me a great opportunity. I was able to catapult that into the journey with the Jets, and eventually get here.
Yeah, what did you think of that level of play in that league? Compared to college, and obviously it's not this level, but What level would you say it is?
Well, I compare it to preseason.
Yeah.
I think everyone in that league has some form of NFL experience, whether that's practice squad or some guys actually getting in real games and stuff like that. So I think the talent and the level of play is higher than maybe the public knows. But I think it was a great opportunity. It gave me a great advantage.
Yeah. So, interesting guy. And, we also talked a little bit about the one thing him and Brock Purdy both share. And it's funny, Shanahan has mentioned in the past, he'd like the backup quarterbacks to be similar to the starter. I don't think he's always, it's not like a rule or anything. It was something that he said to us back in the day when I don't think he wanted to sign Kaepernick. And so Kaepernick had a different skill set and a different style of play than the other quarterbacks. But Adrian Martinez is a great athlete. I mean, he runs in the 4.5s, and mobility has always been a part of his game. And I just think that he's playing his best football right now. He's playing smarter than I've ever seen him before. But I asked him about the ability to run, and that's kind of an underrated part of Brock's game as well. And here's what he had to say.
In the mid 4.5s, you've got a lot of speed. Brock is probably the most underrated part of his game is his speed. How has your speed helped you kind of help that element of your game?
Definitely. Well, it's knowing how to utilize it, right? And whether that's extending a play or scrambling and getting a first down, I think I've only gotten better at that throughout my career, and definitely going to be able to learn how Brock utilizes it and try and add it to my game. I mean, he's elite at what he does, so that part will be fun.
You said he's elite at what he does. What have you seen already that you're like, wow, man, this guy's actually pretty impressive?
Yeah, well, I've only been here for a few days,
Yeah.
but I think he's a really smart player, and I think he knows how to throw with timing, which this offense puts a big priority on, and his footwork is very dialed in. I think he's, like I said, a very smart quarterback, and he's just been impressive, man, and I've only been here a couple of days, so I'm excited to learn from him.
Then we talked a little bit about this offense. The one thing about Shanahan's offense is like, the most impressive part of Purdy's career so far is how quickly he took to this offense. I mean, Matt Ryan really had a huge, ramp up period in his first year. He was the league's MVP in year 2. The first year he was not nearly as good. It takes guys time to learn this system. There's a lot of checks, a lot of shifts, a lot of motions. Shanahan's very multiple. And I asked Adrian today about kind of how complex is this offense compared to others?
Last one, this offense is supposed to be very multiple and that the playbook's pretty vast and difficult to learn. You've been around. I mean, how would you've seen the kind of the size of this playbook and all the different things that Kyle has in it. How would you compare what the offense is here and how multiple it is compared to maybe other offenses you've played in?
Yeah, like you said, I think it's definitely multiple, and it is vast, and there's a lot to it, but I think Coach Shanahan, Coach Kubiak, Mick, they've all done a great job of simplifying and also just teaching the stuff. They've been here a few days, and that's kind of an ever-growing, ever-going process. But it's hard to compare. I think as we get into this game plan and future game plans, I'll be able to see how it differentiates a little bit.
Niner fans always love to know the players. Give me one thing about that you're into outside of football. Something that
I love movies.
Do you? Okay.
Big movie fan. I grew up in Fresno, California, so I am, a local California guy, and it's nice to be back. My family's still in Fresno, and that's something my dad and I have always had a passion for, is watching movies together. Some things I consider a classic, he grew up with. So it's cool just swapping that and then the new generation of movies and trying to get him to like those.
Appreciate you, man. Niner fan as a kid growing up in California, or more of a...
I mean, I was a fan of Kaepernick. I was a fan of those teams growing up. I mean, it was hard not to be.
Yeah. Hey, man, thanks for your time. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Adrian Martinez.
So he's, the newest 49ers, only been in the room for a couple of days, but I'm intrigued by what he can do. Why? Because, on the practice squad, his role is to play that scout team quarterback. And, it's like there's Kyler Murray. You've got some athletic quarterbacks, and this is a guy who can give the defense a pretty good look at those quarterbacks on the scout team. And then we caught up with Demo Lenore, who just looks primed for a monster year. He's a little stronger. He's very confident. He was named captain today, one of 8 captains named voted on by the players and by his teammates. He replaces Deebo Samuel as the other 7 captains are the same. So it's Brock, CMC, Kittle, Trent, Bosa, Warner, and it was Debo, and now it's Demo Lenore. So caught up with him. It was kind of the group interview, but I did get a few questions in, and here they are.
Does Seattle look on film to you so far?
They look nice. They look very good. I feel like it's going to be a great game this Sunday.
Demo, what do you like about playing outside?
More action at the ball. I feel like playing nickel, I'm more like a run defender and more like physicality. I'm able to show physicality. But I feel like playing the corner, I'm able to show elite ball skills.
You studying Darnold a little bit? You been able to pick up anything from him?
I mean, he was here, so I kind of know what kind of quarterback he is, and he's very talented, but we just got to keep the pressure on him.
What's Bradley done for you? He's a veteran DB coach. He's coached some great ones. Has he helped you at all?
Oh yeah, a lot. Just being able to figure out the scheme and just implementing some of his defenses that he created, and just being the guy that created the scheme. He's nothing but knowledge.
I love talking with Demo, and it's tough, in these situations where you've got 20 other people standing around, and basically that was like 4 questions over 10-minute period or whatever. But good dude, straight shooter, tells you the truth, tells you what's on his mind. Very confident, and I'm really eager to see what he looks like playing outside instead of inside this year. So the one other video I wanted to throw in here that's just awesome, I've got a JJ video that I want to throw in. But first, let's shout out our brand new partner, Habbas Law, is a new sponsor of the Krug Show. And our partner, Habbas Law, is stepping up big for the community on Saturday, September the 6th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're teaming up with the Humane Society of Silicon Valley. And Habbas Law is covering every single adoption fee that day at the HSSV's Milpitas Ames campus and the Petco West San Jose Adoption Center. So very cool, very cool. And, I'm a dog owner myself. Penny, our golden retriever, is our family dog. And, dogs are better than people in so many ways. But they're, and they've brought so much joy to our family. So I'm actually fired up for this. And here's the heads up. There's only a limited number of pets, and the goal is to find a forever home for all of them on that day. And it could happen in just a few hours. So come early, expect lines, and definitely bring patience. If I can be there that day, I'm going to try to be there. It's on September 6th. You can get more details at hssv.org. Habbas Law, they will fight to make it right. And they're fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. Omar and Tarek are really, really good guys, and they're great lawyers. And the bottom line is, when you need them, when you need a great lawyer, you need somebody who's fantastic and really good at what they do. My dad worked for the San Francisco City Attorney's Office for 38 years, actually. My brother's a judge. My sister's an attorney. I would not just partner with any attorney. I want them to be high quality and rooted in the community. And that's what these guys are. I've known these guys for years. They're really are rooted in the community, and they're doing a great thing here. So once again, get the details at hssv.org. Habbas Law, rough on injustice, with a big heart for paws. And hopefully we'll be there on September the 6th. And once again, Habbas Law, they will fight to make it right. And their 800 number on the screen right there, 1-800-INJURED. That's 1-800-INJURED, Habbas Law. And thanks to Habbas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, thanks to all you guys for watching this video. Hit like and subscribe on your way out the door. Thanks to our sponsors. They are listed below in the description. And thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.